University Radio Facebook page or on Twitter at KU Radio. And from the KUR Studio Newsroom, I'm Mike Regensberger. Have a great day.
Any views or opinions expressed on KUR are not necessarily those of Kutztown University, Kutztown University Student Government, Kutztown University Student Services Incorporated, KUR staff and management, or other affiliated organizations.
Kutztown Live. Kutztown University Campus's campus and community interest radio magazine. You can call Kutztown Live at 610-683-4859. And now, your host for Kutztown Live, Juliana Jablonski.
Good afternoon and welcome to Kutztown Live, Kutztown's campus and community talk show. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon. I am your host, Juliana Jablonski, and last week we spoke to our reoccurring guest, Lori D'Onofrio-Galli of the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce. She's always here keeping us up to date about the events going on in the chamber here at Kutztown. And last week she brought along with her a special guest, Kim Davis, a business consultant. Later on last week's show, we spoke to Gary Solomon, the bassist, fiddler player, and a vocalist. And also in the studio here with us was Nick from WEEU. If you missed last week's show, be sure to head over to the Kutztown website, or the KUR website at www.kutztown.edu/KUR and click on the podcast link. Now, on to today's show. We will be speaking to Kirby from Kirby on the Vibe Tribe, and a little later on in the show, we'll be speaking to Molly Gallagher, the president of the student government here at Kutztown. Here to speak to us now is Kirby, a part of Kirby and the Vibe Tribe. Good afternoon. Thank you for talking to us today. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we are very excited to have you today. So,
awesome.
To start off, I guess, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and when you kind of started singing and how you got interested into music?
Well, I grew up playing in the church. Started out playing drums and essentially was, playing every Sunday, playing church songs, kind of like, modern day church music, playing drums for that. And then I kind of, my dad had a couple guitars laying around the house, and so I picked one up and taught myself how to play Hotel California, I guess was the first tune I really started singing and playing at the same time. And, that was like back in high school, maybe like 15 or 16. And just kind of, fell in love with music. And, I've always loved music, and that was kind of the manifestation of my playing and enjoying it. And I've been doing it ever since, and I've played in bands in New York City and in Philadelphia, where I currently live, recorded records, playing guitar, playing drums, bass, singing, whatever, whatever the song needed. So I've been doing it for a long time, and it's just kind of like, something that I'm, completely passionate about, and yeah.
So you play the guitar, do you sing, and do you play any other instruments, or?
Yeah, I mean, I started out on drums, and I've been playing guitar after that, and I've recently fallen in love with the piano. That's been a love affair of mine recently. But yeah, I dabble here and there.
All right. And who would you say some of your musical inspirations would be?
Musical inspirations. I mean, I grew up listening to James Taylor, and my parents were big Jimmy Buffett fans, so I was into him when I was growing up. And also, I went to school for theater, actually, so, I love all the musicals and that kind of like, the show tune aspect of it. Songwriting-wise, yeah, I guess I'd say James Taylor. I love, most recently, musically, I've been listening to a lot of Wolfpack, which is a band based out of Michigan, who's kind of like continuing on the Muscle Shoals revival kind of soul, funk, groove kind of stuff. So that recently has been a big inspiration musically for me and the Vibe Tribe as well. But yeah, I mean, I love Paul Simon. I love like crazier stuff like the Mars Volta. I grew up listening to. They're kind of out, and I really like them. I also love jazz. So Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis, Coltrane. All the classic jazz heads. So it's kind of eclectic where my inspirations and where my songs kind of come from, I guess.
All right. And you mentioned the Vibe Tribe. When did that whole thing begin, or how did you all come together to start that?
So we've all been friends for a few years, and it was just kind of a batch of tunes that I had written and hadn't recorded, and just had a plan to record. And so in, I guess it was 2014 going into 2015, that New Year's week, we went down to Avalon, New Jersey, and recorded 7 tracks in a week, and that's essentially what our first LP is. I think you guys are going to be playing Watchtowers, which is off of that record. And it kind of started there, and it was called Cool Coleman and the Vibe Tribe back then, but then I dropped the Cool Coleman and put my name, and yeah, it's just been kind of, over the past couple of years, slowly kind of culminating into a more serious project. And the other guys we've all been in other bands with each other. The drummer Keaton and I live together and are playing together all the time. And we were in a band called Mama Holler, and one of the female vocalists, Allie Peekins, who's on the record, was also in that band. And so we've kind of played in different groups together, and just first of all love each other as people, and then respect each other what we do musically. So it just kind of has come out of that, and that first recording session was really like the thing that solidified us becoming a band. And now that we have the record, we're kind of we're trying to pursue it and do more shows, and we're planning on recording our second record before we release the first one, just so that we have something as a follow-up from this first one. So it's become kind of a fun project that's become more serious and more of a focus as of late.
All right. And I also heard that you'll be stopping through Kutztown later this week, actually, and you'll be performing out here on Main Street. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that event happening?
Yeah, absolutely. My good buddy and I, Caleb Griffin, are about to start a tour, and Friday is the first date of it, and it's in Kutztown, at a really good friend of mine, Kat Keegan's place. She has an event space called the Publishing House, and it's this awesome spot in this warehouse that her family owns. And she throws shows there, and we've played there a couple times, and this will be, I think, our third time playing there. And it's the full band, and we have Caleb playing his songs, and he's actually working on his solo record right now, which should be released sometime next year. And a good buddy of mine, Richie Wormkessel, will be opening the night with stand-up comedy. So it's kind of a variety show of sorts. And there's also an artist that's having his show opening for a whole bunch of pieces that he's been working on, which I'm really pumped to see. And so it's kind of this variety show, and Kat's really great, and she's got a really great great vibe about the venue, and she's just a super sweet person. And every show we've had there has been a lot of fun, and it's kind of like a kind of a hometown show, because I went to Kutztown a few years back, and so it's always great coming back and seeing familiar faces and meeting new people, and so we're really excited about that show. It should be a lot of fun.
And that's this Friday?
That is this Friday, yes.
What time?
November 5th.
November 5th?
Yeah, are you going to come out? Are you going to make it out?
We'll see. November 5th, did you say? Because I think Friday's the
4th. November 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
Okay, and what time?
The show kicks off around, I want to say 7 or 8. There's a Facebook event.
Okay.
Somewhere in the ethers, but I think it's like 7 doors open.
All right. And
can I just jump in for a second? This is the producer, Mike. Did you say, Kirby, that was on Friday, you said?
Yes.
Friday is the 4th.
Oh, it's the 4th. Excuse me.
I just don't
Sorry,
want.
I'm getting my dates all mixed up.
Yeah, I just don't want your fans coming out the wrong day. So it's Friday the 4th.
Oh,
okay.
thank you.
No problem. Yep. All right, I'll be quiet now.
I think I need you more often in my life, Mike, because I'm getting these dates all wrong.
Yeah, I know what it's like. All right, I'll let you get back with Juliana. Okay.
All right. And then is there any, I know you said you're working on a second album, or is there any more music coming out or any more future events that we should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, absolutely. I just recorded a solo EP this past week with a good buddy of mine, Josh Friedman, who plays in a band based out of Philadelphia called The Lawsuits.
Okay.
And we recorded it right down the street from my house, actually, in a recording studio called the High Five Studio. And it's 5 tracks, and it's going to be released officially on November 20th. And then I'm going to have like exclusive copies on the road. So November 4th, y'all can get a copy in Kutztown. But yeah, so that's the next EP, and then the first Vibe Tribe record will be coming out early next year, and then the sophomore album will be released, at a later date.
All right. And this music, can we get it on iTunes or SoundCloud, or where do we find it?
Yeah. Once it's released, it'll be on Spotify and iTunes, all of the major platforms. But that won't be until the 20th.
All right. And then where would we find more information about you or your group? Do you have like a Facebook or Twitter that people can look you up at?
Yeah, absolutely. It's facebook.com/Kirby and the Vibe Tribe. You can also go to my website, which is kirbysybert.com, for all the information. I'm going to have, we're going to be having merch posted up there the next couple days. We just printed T-shirts for the tour, the Solo Vibes Tour, with Caleb Griffin and Kirby Sybert. So you'll be able to order merch there. You'll be able to order the EP. There's also kirbysybert.bandcamp.com, which is where you'll be able to listen to the EP as well.
All right. And then any final thoughts you would like all of our listeners to hear this afternoon?
I just, keep the peace and love, and, I hope to see you on the 4th at the publishing house. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of cool people coming out, a lot of good art, good people around, so it'd be great to see you guys out there.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for talking to us here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you, and hope to see you on the 4th.
Yes, sounds good. We're going to cut to a short break here, and then when we return, we'll be speaking to Molly Gallagher of Student Government.
Starts to pull me towards an uncanny remedy, yeah. Well, the smoke that flowed before found its space and place among the trees. Well, all this grand illusion, separation of mind and body. Our friends, being me who turns that page, I can. The one who sees to you before anyone else decides to, yeah. Well, I am the one who sees you, and I am many faces can you put on? 'Cause to exist is to be one of them. Well, you can't be yourself for too long. Just live on this alone. I could just live on this alone. If I had realized I was one of them, well, I wasn't myself for too long. No. All along the watchtower, they seem to be under attack by the overwhelming burst of all this loving that tends to strike back. So he turned his cheek and got smacked. Where did you learn a thing like that, love? Smack turned to blood. Now we're as deep as oceans in it. Can't swim to shore, battle back. No. All along the watchtower, they seem to be under attack by the overwhelming burst of all this loving that tends to strike back. Don't become one who don't love none. Just become love. Don't become one who don't love none. Just become love. Don't become one who don't love none. Just become love. All along the watchtower, they seem to be under attack by the overwhelming burst of all this loving that tends to strike back. All along the watchtower, all along the watchtower, all along the watchtower, all along the watchtower.
You're listening to Kutztown Live. Stay tuned. Coming up after this break, interview with Molly Gallagher, KU Student Government President. Stay tuned.
It's Telescopic Topics, a look into the world above us.
Did you hear about the government shutdown of 2013? My name's Alex Magana, and here's the story of how one person was affected. Since the government did not come to an agreement on a budget for the nation, the new fiscal year that began on October 1st, 2013, was the first day in a 16-day government shutdown. Numerous agencies funded by the government were furloughed. One affected was NASA. Out of the 18,000 employees, only 550 were allowed to work. These individuals continued working despite 97% of their agency closing its doors. This affected every aspect of NASA, from research and missions to their social media accounts. The employees allowed to work were those deemed essential to certain missions or important to the welfare and safety of the U.S. citizens. Delia Santiago is a graduate student at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Santiago is a participant in the NASA Pathways program. This program prepares students for careers within the agency after graduation. Thanks in part to this program, her research on the Martian water cycle overlaps with her duties as a civil servant for NASA. She never expected the shutdown to last 16 days. She honestly thought that the government would come to an agreement at the very last minute and that the next day would continue on as usual. She remembers seeing a lot of people preparing for the shutdown and thinking how unnecessary that was. Yet once October 1st rolled around, the government did indeed shut down. What she thought was a big inconvenience to people turned out to be much more than that. Since her research uses 3D computer models, as well as constant communication with collaborators, the shutdown did affect her work. She does have computer models available for home usage, but with limited disk space as well as less computing power, she could not see much progress. To make matters worse, some of her data that was stored in computers would not be available to her until the shutdown was over. Santiago faced great uncertainty throughout the 16-day government shutdown. The lack of interaction with mentors and collaborators, difficulty accessing data, not having proper workspace, and minimal computing power all put her behind in her graduate career. Not knowing if she would get back pay once this was all over added to her stress. Though she did receive back pay, the money was 2 weeks later than usual, interfering with her bills. After the government reopened, there was great joy for mostly everyone affected. Santiago was excited to be back at work. As she pointed out, people want to earn their salaries honestly, and most people really like what they do. Delia Santiago is only one story out of 17,450 NASA employees furloughed during the government shutdown. Numerous other agencies were also impacted, resulting in 86,600 people being furloughed and costing millions to the American economy.
Telescopic Topics, a look into the world above us. Stay tuned to KUR for more telescopic topics, and for more information or to hear the segment again, click on the Telescopic Topics icon on the KUR website at www.kutztown.edu/KUR. Telescopic Topics is a production of the KU Physical Sciences Department and is recorded by the KU astronomy students in the studios of KUR. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Kutztown Live. Here with me now is Molly Gallagher, the president of the student government here at Kutztown. Good afternoon and welcome, Molly. Thank you for coming. How are you this afternoon?
Of course. How are you? I'm great.
I am wonderful. So, would you like to tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the student government here?
Yeah. When I was a freshman, I wasn't sure if I wanted to join student government. I kind of wanted to get my feet into my classes and all things like that. And throughout my time as a student, starting in like 6th grade, I was involved with student government. So honestly, I just kind of, I did the nomination. I put it in like the last minute, and we ran against 35 people because I ran as a freshman like the first week. We have 4 new student representative seats. So I ran as a freshman. I got on, and ever since then, I've loved it. Like, I took a leadership position, I think it was like the 2nd week of being on student government. It's called the At-Large Dean's Liaison.
Okay.
So there I was working with undeclared students and students who just, like, because I was undeclared my sophomore year. So, like, I was really able to, like, connect with it because I wasn't sure of my major when I first got here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to do a lot with that position, and we created the event called Major Day. So.
All right, that's
Yeah.
cool. And now you are president, correct?
Yes.
And what do you do as president?
Oh, I think the better question is, what do I not do? No, but I run all of our SGB meetings every week, and I attend different, like, administrative meetings. So I'm, like, the student voice on a lot of different bodies here at Kutztown. So I take all of the issues and concerns that my student government has gotten from, like, our constituents, and I take that to the president or the provost or, like, things like that. But I speak a lot at different events to, like, show that the student face is there and fun things like that. But it's a hard job. Like, there's never a time I'm not president, I've told myself. Like, I'm always on the job. There's always something that can come up, and I'm more than willing to deal with it all, especially with last week. But I love it. Yeah.
How many people are involved in student government?
We have 33 board seats, and right now we are at 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what is the student government, how is the student government working this year?
Amazing.
It's really
I
good?
couldn't be happier. Yeah. We have, like, a primarily new board. After we had a lot of seniors graduate last semester. So one thing that we really went into this year being very important was our Student Government Board retreat. So every fall we have a retreat with our whole board, and we go to like a cabin somewhere. So we went to like the Poconos area, and that's where we set all of the goals and the expectations and like everything for the board of the year, and it totally like sets the precedent. So we have a really, really hardworking, motivated board who's like really wanting to make change on our campus.
And what does the student government do exactly?
So we're all elected based on our colleges. So each college has your representatives, and they're the people who speak with your deans. They're the ones who bring the different issues like to face, I guess you would say.
Okay.
So one issue that our academic affairs and liberal arts and sciences representatives are working on is advisement. I know that advisement it always comes up with us. Advisement is a huge issue that students come into, and they're working on just making an easier, like, streamlined process so students aren't so confused and advisors don't know what to do. But we're just kind of here to be the voice of the students, whether it's to administration, to the deans, like all things like that. We're just here to help the students.
All right.
Yeah.
And I know election day is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be shuttling students to the polls,
Yes.
or how is that going to be working?
Yes, student government, in collaboration with the Vote Everywhere ambassadors on campus, have a shuttle running from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., leaving the sublot every half hour, all day on election day. So this is something that we are very passionate about because our poll is 4.5 miles away, and with such a big election, we figured this is going to impact a lot of students. So the people who vote at the location that it shuttles you to is only on-campus students and like the EDGE students.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to like really advertise it for those students so that they know it's available. It's free for any student. We leave at the sublot, and I think we're gonna have like snacks and like fun things like that there. But we're really excited, and I'm actually going to be on the Kutztown University Snapchat that day.
Okay.
So I'll have a Snapchat takeover that day, so you have to check that out.
What is the Snapchat name?
Kutztown U.
Kutztown U?
Yeah, gotta
Okay.
add on Snapchat.
All right. And then are there any other events or upcoming things Student Government Board has coming up that you'd like to announce?
Well, next week on Thursday at 11 to 1, we have our annual event Major Day.
Okay.
So this is the event that I had started up a couple years ago, and for all undeclared students, every there's a representative from each college, the Career Development Center, and CASA as well. So students are able to go and talk about majors and minors with all of those representatives and try to clarify their decision-making process. And we always do it in the time of like advisement and classes being picked.
Okay.
So that if you are undeclared, we can kind of help you out beforehand.
All right. And then is there anywhere else we can go to find all this information? Like
Of
a Facebook
course.
page or...
Yes, Kutztown University Student Government Board is our Facebook page.
Okay.
We have a lot on there. Like, we post there, like, every day. We have a new thing that we started for our board meetings. So after every Tuesday meeting, we have a recap video that goes out, and it goes over, like, two or three like main things that we discussed in our meeting. So that's something to look for. But we also have a Snapchat, KUSGB, Twitter, same thing, KUSGB. But we're very active on social media. We're always looking for student input and concern. So definitely look there.
Sounds good. Is there anything else you'd like to say this afternoon?
No, I mean, I think that everyone should try to visit us. We're in the sub, 196 is our room. There's literally always someone in that office. Like 2 a.m., we're probably there. Like, so we're always looking for visitors, always here for the issues and concerns that students may have. We're here to help.
And what are like reasons someone would come visit Student Government Board?
Oh, it could be anything. Like anything. Questions, like if you had a problem with your advisement and you didn't really know where to go, you come to us.
Okay.
If you had an issue with dining, housing, like literally anything, we can help you.
All right.
And direct you in the way you should be going.
Sounds good. Well, thank you very much for coming in to speak to us this afternoon. We are very glad to have you.
Yes, always happy to be here.
All right. We're going to cut to a short commercial break.